Just play the damn thing.
So I received a request in the comments section this week, and I'll just read it to you directly. This from a Shout Out to the World. It says, can you make a video of your favorite delay pedals? Why, yes, absolutely I can make a video of my favorite delay pedals, and that is an excellent idea. So that's what we are going to do here in this video today. So this here is a list of my top 10 favorite delay pedals. Let's get to it. Number 10, the Xgear Echo Fish analog delay. Now, I typically favor digital delay pedals over analog delay pedals. A lot of analog delay pedals, honestly, are, kind of all seem the same to me, but this one actually has a little something different to it. This little switch right here that you see labeled Drama, hopefully that's picking up on the camera. When you flip that switch into the up position, it just totally intensifies the sound of the entire effect. And it's really kind of like having two different analog delay pedals in one, because when you don't have that switch engaged, it's of course just a real warm sounding regular analog delay, which is of course a really classic sound. Number 9, the TC Electronic The Prophet digital delay. Now, the TC Electronic came out with this series of pedals 5 or 6 years ago now. They've never really named the actual series, so I just always, when they first launched them, when they first announced them, they were being advertised as the Smorgasbord of Tone, so I've always just kind of called them the Smorgasbord series, and that's what this one was out of. At the time that they were launched, they were supposed to be basically upgraded versions of the the Behringer plastic housing pedals, but again with upgraded components on the inside of them, etc. Metal housings, these things are built like tanks. And they were all sold for about $50 or $60. The delay pedal was one of the $59 varieties. Before turning on the camera, I just looked it up. This thing now sells brand new for $49, and it's fantastic. I still reach for this one quite a bit for a $50 delay pedal. Like I said, it's built excellent. It sounds great, and probably the best feature on this thing is this little switch on the side, which is a time division switch. You can set it to 16th, 8th, or the 3/8 setting on there. Of course, is the dotted eighth. The dotted eighth setting. It just sounds great. When I just want a simple delay pedal without a bunch of bells and whistles, I just needed to do what I needed to do. This is oftentimes the one that I grab. Now, it's not going to get its own entry on this list, but say that you want something like that, but in analog form, then you need to check out the Echo Brain delay, which is the analog delay version, again, out of the same series. Excellent pedals. TC Electronic did a great job with these. Number 8 is the Atlantic delay and reverb from Newx. This one I just demoed on my channel here not too long ago, just in the last few months. This thing is really cool because it's a delay and reverb in the same pedal. You can use them independently or simultaneously. But even just the delay side, which is this side of the pedal, it's all, you operate the whole thing on one switch, and it does have a very functional tap tempo feature in it. Somehow it just, the same switch that you turn it on and off with, somehow it just knows when you're tapping at a tap tempo. I don't know how it does that, but it's phenomenal. It's got 3 different types of delay in it, which are kind of essentially translate into analog, tape, and digital, as well as stereo outputs. And there is also switches on there for a level boost and serial and parallel circuitry options, just to give you some more tonal variation. Very cool pedal, and I think this thing's also in the $99 variety. It's not very expensive. Number 7 is the Fairv from Jupiter Effects. I included this one because I wanted to put one on here for the weirdos, the guys that like the really oddball spacey types of delay and shit. That's who this one's designed for. Jupiter Effects makes them really out there. Not a traditional effects company at all. This is the first pedal that they ever sent me to demo for them, and it's a cool one, man. They don't label what any of the knobs do because their intentions, they want you to just sit there and fiddle with them and just start turning them and see what they do and use your ears basically instead of dialing in tone with your eyes, which most guitar players tend to do. This one does have stereo ins and outs. Typical 9-volt pedal. It's just, like I said, it just does a lot of really, really weird stuff. But the other reason I want to put this one on here is because Chris Jupiter is one of the coolest pedal builders that I've ever worked with. He's the only one that has ever sent me a pedal and said, here, make a video making fun of this. I want to laugh my ass off. So I did. Number 6, the MXR Carbon Copy. I don't own one of these, but when this pedal came out, it made quite a buzz in the guitar community. And the reason why is because when it came out, it was an analog delay that was, one, quiet. Analog delay is known to be pretty noisy. This one, though, was quiet, and it also had a modulation switch on it. There's not a lot of adjustment on the modulation, but you can add in a little bit of chorus and swirly, some swirly, warbly type of modulation in with your delay should you choose to do so. And like I said, the fact that it doesn't produce as much, produce anywhere near as much noise as most analog delays do, makes it an excellent delay pedal, and it's very easy to see why it's been on the market for, going on 20 years now, I guess. It's been on the market for a long time, and it absolutely earned its reputation. It's made such a huge impact amongst guitar players and has done so well that MXR have actually expanded the line, and they have now included a Carbon Copy Bright, which is a brighter sounding version, as well as the more recent Carbon Copy Deluxe, which is the same, an expansion on the same circuit that includes a whole slew of new features, including tap tempo. Unfortunately, I don't own one of those pedals, but it absolutely deserves a spot on this list. Number 5, the TC Electronic Echo Park. I'm not a big fan of modeling pedals, but this is out of an old line of pedals that Line 6 released back in the early 2000s. These were called the Tone Core series. Reason being is because they had this pedal itself as a dock, and you could actually pop the core out of it and replace it with another core and turn it into an entirely different pedal. It's kind of a really cool design that and unique. You don't really see. I've never really seen it from anybody else. These pedals were all designed by the legendary George Tripp's Way Huge Pedals fame. This one has 11 different delay settings on it. You can also set it to tape, analog, or digital, and you even have the option to turn the trails on and off. I mean, it just does a lot. Plus, there's also a modulation control, and even though it only has one switch, it also is tap tempo enabled. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan of Line 6 products, but they absolutely got this one right. It's a big clunky beast. This thing's going to add about 4 or 5 pounds to your pedal board, and it also sucks a fair amount of current from your power supply. So make sure that you got enough juice going to it. But it's a great delay pedal. Line 6 sold a shitload of these when they were current. Number 4, the TC Electronic Nova Delay. This one is one that this probably would have been number 1 on my list for at least number 1 or number 2 on my list for a long time, because I thought this was one of the best delay pedals on the market. Unfortunately, it's been long out of production now, but you can still find them out there on the used market for about $120. It was like one of the first smaller size, like full featured delay pedals that had tap tempo and multiple delay modes and tape delays, analog delays, and time divisions and modulation. It had all kinds of stuff, and really it was all on a pedal that really wasn't much bigger than this. The Nova Delay doesn't get a whole lot of love these days because there's so many other delay pedals that have come out since then, and it's no longer the latest and greatest. But I still know a lot of people that still use it because there's no need to replace it. Number 3 is the Walrus Audio Fundamental Delay. I just demoed this one on my channel within the last couple of weeks, along with a bunch of other pedals out of this series. Those videos were not sponsored. This video is not sponsored, but I'm going to reiterate that this is one of the best delay pedals that I've seen come out in the market in a long time. 3 different delay modes. It's got just about every single kind of delay sound that you can think of. It does, it does digital. It does analog. It actually has a reverse delay feature in it. And then when you hold the switch in, Then it engages 3 different time signature modes. If you want dotted eighth delay, you can tee it up in this thing by selecting the dotted eighth mode and then turning it back off and setting in your tap tempo, because it also has tap tempo on it. Again, another pedal with like a smart tap tempo feature. I don't know how it works, but it works fantastic. It just knows, and it knows that you're not turning it off. It knows you're setting in a tap tempo delay. I couldn't believe all of the features that I was getting with one switch for $129 when I demoed this thing. So yes, that is why it is on this list and why it is on here as high as it is. This thing's fantastic. Number 2 is the Boss DD7/DD8 digital delay. This is the DD7, which is obviously, this is now the discontinued version. The DD8 is the current version that has replaced this. This is the pedal that's been in Boss's standard compact stomp box line for decades now, in all of its iterations. This is just for any time I need or want a delay sound as part of my tone. I still grab for this one 75% of the time. I've always loved Boss delay pedals, specifically the digital delays. Boss does digital delay right. I don't have the DD8 because honestly, for my purposes, the DD7 is still working fine, and the DD8 does add a few features. I think it's got a couple. It's got like one or two new modes on it, and I think it also may have gotten rid of one of the ones that's on this version, but. You can engage tap tempo either with the switch itself, or you can plug in an external foot switch, such as the Boss FS5U, into that port right there, and control tap tempo independently, which is you get a little bit more control and usability with it if you go that route. And also, it's real easy just to run an FS5U and set the FS5U just off the board below this pedal. Again, to make it easier to use. I love this delay. The DD7 was my favorite delay pedal by a country mile. Until number 1 came out. Number 1 being the Boss DD200. This one does everything that the DD7 and DD8 will do, plus a whole lot more. This one has the ability to store presets, stereo ins and outs. You have the option to add an external foot switch. The possibilities with this thing are just endless. You can do digital sounds, you can do analog sounds. It's got everything on it, and this is as big as it gets. Again, built-in tap tempo should you need it. And this thing sells brand new for I think $249. A lot of people ask me why I didn't go with the DD500, which is this guy's big brother. Frankly, I don't know that the DD500 has enough added features on it, for my purposes anyway, to justify going with that over this. This has got almost as many features. It's got smaller real estate. It's going to take up less real estate on your pedal board, and it sounds just as good. So that's it. There's my list of my top 10 favorite delay pedals, at least as it sits right now, as of this recording in 2023. I could very well add a few more and that bump a few of these pedals off of this list. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what comes out in the future. But as of right now, this one's pretty solid. Links to all of these pedals will be down in the description because you need to go check them out. Also, don't forget to comment down below and let me know what your favorite delay pedal is. Robert, signing off.